Alrighty. What's up, everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph. About to choke. I ate something and went down the wrong pipe, but I'm okay. Alright. Anyway. It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph here for video number 2 on your now Sunday night, January the 25th, 2026. Thank you all for watching right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video. Hit the subscribe button down there. You know where it is by now. And if you don't know where it is, it's in the description box below, otherwise known as my pants. So subscribe to this channel and my other channels. Links are all down below in the gobbledygook. So do it now! And also, leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos from the past, the present, and the future Conan on my respective channels. But don't leave stupid comments, because you're going to get sent to the Shadow Realm, buried in snow, and then Ozzy and Satan will dig you out and then eat your soul. So don't do it. You want to do it, go do it on your dead channel that nobody gives two fucks about. Or just don't do it at all. And that's that. And if you don't like getting blocked, tough shit, boy. And that's it. Tough shit. You don't like it? Tough. But anyway, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share the video all over the internet. Don't forget to tap and slap that bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because if you miss the next one, you're pretty much out of luck. And, you know what that means. You're out of luck. You missed it. You missed it, and you're out of luck. And that's that. And for newbies out there, if you're here for the first time, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax. You grab that nice, tasty cold one. And this is ginger ale. You can tell it's ginger ale. It's not beer. So, not even light beer. But it's ginger ale because I have a tummy ache. But it is what it is. So, because I had Pepsi earlier, now I have a little bitty tummy ache. But not too bad. Not too bad, because I had a big lunch. That's that. But sit back, relax, grab yourself the nice, tasty cold one, put your feet up and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, get out of here. But you'll stay because you got nothing else to do. That's that. I care less. And we move on with that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. On your Sunday night, January the 25th, 2026. Still kind of sleeting here in the northeast. The brunt of the storm is over. Now we're getting pretty much ice. Not the terrorist group ICE, but ice. But, you know, just been a mess today weather-wise. 10 plus inches of snow. Almost 11 inches here in the northeast, in my neck of the woods. And now we're pretty much digging out. Threw some snow melt out earlier. Did you know, at least I made a path out my door and, you know, at least down my block. Well, on one side of the block, I haven't done the other side yet. I'll do that tomorrow. Hopefully I can, but, it's gonna get cold, and the snow that's already on the ground is gonna freeze up, and it's gonna be hard to kind of shovel. But, if you have an industrial strength snowblower, or, you're big and strong like me, but, a kid. But anyway. So, if you gotta dig out tomorrow, try to dig out tomorrow. Throw that ice melt out, and at least for the next day or two, throw some ice melt out, because whatever is still on the ground is even if it melts a little bit, it's gonna refreeze, and we're not getting out of this deep freeze for at least another week, which kind of sucks. So, but we're getting into February. It's gonna be really short, and then by the time you blink, it'll be March, and then, we add an hour of sunlight. We turn the clock forward an hour at 2 o'clock. In a few weeks, actually, about another month and a half, we're going to be doing that. So the sun will be going down in my neck of the woods around 7:30 when it gets dark. And then we'll begin spring, the great month of the great season of spring. Baseball will be back. Good stuff going on. Basketball and hockey will be pretty much going into the playoffs. And then pretty soon, the summer will be here and Easter. So, time flies when you have fun. And we have that. But be safe, be well on the roads today and through this week in the Northeast and wherever you may be. But wherever you're here in the Northeast, be careful if you have to go out tomorrow. I'm not even going out till Wednesday, so hopefully, I know the roads will be hopefully a little bit better by Wednesday, and we'll see what happens by the time we get to the final weekend of the first month of the year, January. And then we start February next Sunday. And we've got the Hedgehog coming, and we'll see what that little rodent has to say. And we'll see what happens with that. Alright, after almost 6 minutes of spiel, it is time on your Sunday night. Check out my video number 2. Check out my Saturday night's main event review over on my Peter Joseph channel. The link to the video will be down below in the gobbledygook, or just go to my channel and go to my latest videos and all that other good stuff. You can find it there too. And that's that. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time on video number 2 right here on the Kill with Demons channel. My name is Peter Joseph. Once again, your gracious host, your tribal god of extreme. There is none higher. And I am a content creator talking about the wonderful world of professional wrestling and anything else I want to talk about. You like it? Great. You know, tough shit. We move on. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your official TNA Impact Wrestling review for episode number 2 on AMC for January the 22nd, 2026. And this show was a hell of a lot better than the debut episode we saw the week before that, which got 173,000 views. I don't even think did it come out? Let me grab the bat. Let me grab the bat phone. I mean the phone, and see what the TNA rating this week. See what the rating was for this week's show. Let's see here. Well, my Siri doesn't work sometimes. And I have to manually put it in. Hasn't come out yet, but TNA's recent television episodes on Access TV. Oh, that's not it. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Damn you, Google. It hasn't come out yet. Okay. It's 15th. Yeah, it hasn't come out yet, surprisingly. Probably be out tomorrow. I don't have it. Last week did 173,000. That's pretty much it. So, it is what it is, and that's that. But so we'll see what the rating is this week. But this, like I said, this week was a way better show than last week. But the end, and I mentioned it on a couple of videos ago, that after the TNA went off the air, if you have TNA Plus, they actually aired audio of Eddie Edwards winning the there was Feast of Fire on this show, where they have 4 briefcases, 3 of them have title shots, 1 has a pink slip, and they kind of spoiled one of the briefcases. Eddie Edwards wins the world title case, so he gets a title shot against Mike Santana or whoever is the champion when he can cash in. Well, when he gets that title shot. I think it's almost like Money in the Bank, basically. Not like the Call Your Shot gauntlet or trophy that Nick Nemeth has, and he's going to be probably cashing in anytime he wants, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, TNA doing TNA things and spoiling next week's show, which is the reveal of the briefcases, and now we know Eddie Edwards has the world title shot. Dumb, TNA. Dumb. And that's that. But anyway, we'll talk about Feast of Fire in Yeah, been a little bit. Anyway, we are from the Tingley Coliseum. Tingley. That's what she said. The Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We didn't take a right at Albuquerque. That's that. And as always, our commentary team on AMC, Tom Phillips and Matthew Waywall, otherwise known as Aiden English. Alright, so we got that. Alright, so we start off with a big, huge recap from Genesis, which had a lot of things happening. Mike Santana gets back the TNA World title from Frankie Kazarian in a Texas death match. Nick Nemeth tried to cash in, but Mike stopped it. We had that. Xia Li still our Knockouts women's champion as she beat Delta. What else happened? Mustafa Ali won his match. Yeah, we saw a lot of things happening at the show. Eddie Edwards beat Fandango, Johnny Curtis, JDC in his final match. We're gonna find out the newest member of the system later on. And not so good, Al. That's but interesting, but it's kind of weird. But we got that. And we move on. But lots of things happening at Genesis. And that's that. Alright, the opening sequence begins the show after the recap. And then we get TNA President Carlos Silva, the man who can heal anything. Well, almost everything. He's all happy with the AMC debut last week. And then that was pretty much it. Okay. I like the debut, even though you got 173,000 there, Carlos. Well, I thought it was a great show anyway. Okay. Alright, so we move on. Alright, first match out the gate, we had Cedric Alexander taking on Moose from the system with the lovely Alicia Edwards at ringside. Moose is coming into the match with a really banged up back. Surprised he even was cleared to wrestle. But anyway. So they shake hands to start, mutual respect. Moose chops him in the corner, then a drop kick by Moose, which you rarely see, because he's a pretty athletic guy. Cuts Cedric off, and sends him to the apron. They slug it out, and so Cedric plants Moose hard on the apron or the mat. Cedric hits a big flippy doo, but gets set hard into the steps as Tom Phillips and Matthew Waywell run down the show. You could have done that after the match. Bad production and bad, just not good right now. Anyway. Alright, so Moose gets set into the ring steps, and then he loses a fight over a basic suplex, and his back is even banged up even more. And then Cedric hits an Eddie Guerrero frog splash that wasn't that great. Eddie, did you like that? Nah, it was alright. Not as good as mine. Okay, I know. Moving on. So he gets a new fall out of that. Kicks Moose in the back. For being smart, go for the back. Somebody's injured. You go for that injury. Make it worse. Anyway, a springboard downward spiral gets a near fall, but Moose starts hooking up, brother. Kicks Cedric right in the face. And then for some reason, why did you do this? He hits a back splash with his bad back, but he's fine enough to nip up. Bad back my ass there, Moose. Anyway, Moose then hits a choke bomb out of the corner for a near fall on Cedric, who counters the spear into a Michinoku driver for a near fall. Then they have a chop fest, and so Cedric grabs a Spanish fly. Nice move. And then Moose with a headbutt out of mid-air to block a springboard maneuver. And he loads up a power bomb. I think he hit that. No, he didn't hit that. So Moose goes for a power bomb, and Cedric reverses into a Hurricane Rana. 1, 2, 3 in exactly 10 minutes. Cedric Alexander gets the win over Moose. And I don't think that sat well with some of the members of the system, especially Alicia Edwards, but what are you going to do? So, good win for Cedric. You're supposed to take on Leon Slater for the X Division title, but due to visa reasons, Leon has not even entered the United States yet. He wasn't at the taping, so they already taped the next couple weeks. So the next time we'll probably see Leon Slater is either in a video package on the show, or via satellite, or maybe at No Surrender, which is coming up 2 weeks from Friday the 13th, in February the 13th, and that's No Surrender. And that's an event, not a pay-per-view, but it's an event. So, we get that. So it'll be on at the same time as SmackDown. So, but SmackDown will be on Sci-Fi that night, and which probably won't get a lot of ratings for the next two, the 13th and the 20th of February because of the Olympics coming up, the Winter Olympics, and that's that. So, alright, so next week, this week will be at 1 p.m. because they're in Saudi Arabia. Then the following week, back to normal, 8 p.m. on the USA Network. And then, for 2 weeks after that, we'll be on Sci-Fi. And then the 27th, the night before Elimination Chamber, Raw will be back, SmackDown will be back on at its normal schedule. So little scheduling changes as we go into February and before we get to March. So stay tuned. Don't miss a beat. That's that. Somebody didn't miss a beat was Cedric Alexander, and he got the win over Moose in 10 minutes. Match was pretty good. 3 out of 5 stars. And we're off and running on Empire Wrestling. And we got that. Alright, after that, we get the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Mike Santana. He comes out, gets a chair, sits down in the ring. He says, before we get to the nitty-gritty, I gotta play a message from my late dad. And he plays the audio on the Tron. His dad said that his son earned his way to TNA, deserves to be in TNA, belongs in TNA. And that's that. And the fans like, yeah, you deserve it! You know. That's what the fans do. Santana talks about coming back to TNA about 2 years ago. And every time he tries to do something, he remembers his father's words. Then he talks about fighting back every time, even when he lost the world title, just a month after he won it, which I think was a dumb idea to make him drop the title on the, you know, on the first live, not the first live show, but, you know, the first actual event back after a bunch of tapings. That was dumb. But it was a live show, too. Stupid. Anyway. But now he's back where he belongs, praises Frankie Kazarian after the wars they've had over the last couple months. He knows his back is against the wall, against these people, I guess meaning the locker room, because that's the way he likes it, because he's earned his way to TNA. He deserves to be here, belongs in TNA, and that's pretty much it. I thought he said something about AJ Styles, but because there was a rumor that AJ might have one more match in TNA and he'd go after Mike Santana for the world title. I don't think we're going to see that because AJ is going to be retiring at the Royal Rumble because his contract ends on February the 1st. And with the added incentive of Shinsuke's now deleted Instagram story where he had a thing on his Instagram saying that, you know, he talked to AJ in Japan, and AJ said, I'm retiring at the Rumble, where I debuted in 2015, 16. No, not 16. I had to be 16, 17, I think. So, like 10 years ago, I think he debuted. So 10 years in WWE, and that's where you start, and then you end. So Walter's gonna retire and end the career of AJ, like he did to John Cena. And then, we probably won't see AJ in the ring. And, we won't see AJ to maybe Mania if he gets put in the Hall of Fame, like John Cena might be, because that's one of the rumors that Cena and AJ are going to be in the Hall of Fame. on the same night that Stephanie McMahon is going in, too. So, yeah, so we have that. And we move on with that. Alright, so good promo from Mike, and I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, Mustafa Ali and Order 4. Tasha Steelz, the Great Hands, Skylar and Hotch, and Agent Zero. They're on the back talking to Gia Miller about the Hardys, thinking they're goats, which they are, but they're really sheep. Meh! You know. And they say, Mustafa says that he will be Jeff Hardy's shepherd because they got a match coming up in a little bit. So we'll see what happens with that. Overall, the segment was kind of meh, and I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Then we're going to look at Delta, or Del Ruca, earning a Knockouts Tag Team title shot against the Elegance brand. I think that match is next week, or it's going to be maybe at No Surrender, but we'll see. So we got that from NXT. Moving on. Alright, speaking of ladies, we go to match number 2. Indy Hartwell taking on a member of the Elegance brand. That's Emma by Elegance, the big woman, with Ash and Heather by Elegance at ringside, along with the personal concierge, George the Iceman, and Mr. Elegance himself. That schmuck. And we get that. Alright, match was kind of meh. It's also with Indy backing M by Elegance into the corner to start. Grabs a basic 1905 headlock. They run the ropes a little bit. Indy with a Tiger uppercut into the corner. A running big boot missed. And M stomps on Indy's foot. Ow. With George the Iceman smashing the foot with a shoe. Who uses a shoe? Honestly. And that was payback for Indy stepping on M's foot. Anyway, we go to break, we come back. Indy grabs a Spine Buster. And starts up with the clothesline comeback. Goes for the Hertz Donut. That gets broken up, but Indy with a fruit roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Indy Hartwell beats M by Elegance in a match that wasn't really that great, but still 2.25 out of 5 stars. After the match, the entire brand destroys Indy, and Ash is like, whoa, wait a minute, this is not how I want, this is not wrong, this is wrong. Tries to cool things off, and then she teases, she gets into a little shoving match with M and Heather. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We got Dissension in the Elegance brand? But then the Angel Warriors, Xia Li, the TNA Knockouts champ, and her bestie Xia Brookside, they come out, and they kind of side with Ash, who jumps Xia Li, the old heinous switcheroo act. So Ash is now clear to wrestle after that little mini retirement bullshit. And, looks like she's gonna be back in that ring to do some more physicality. So whatever happened back at Bound for Glory pretty much is like ancient history now. So I don't know if it was a shoot. It was a work, or, it was just, basically a work, which means, fabricated bullshit. So I don't know. So we got that. And we move on with that. Alright, after the break, we go to the back with Gia Miller talking to the Elegance brand. Ash tells the brand, that she is back. So, I guess she's cleared. I don't know. We won't know. I guess we'll have to find out this week on the program. And we move on. Alright, after that, go back to the ring with Feast or Fired. Like I said, 4 briefcases, 1 in each corner. 3 have title shots, world title, X Division title, and international title. Surprisingly, not tag team titles, which it used to be before. And the 4th, as always, contains a pink slip, meaning you're fired. And you get the case, but you have to have possession of the case when you hit the floor to officially win the case, and then you get the reveals next week. Alright, so we had Mance Warner and his hot wife, Stephanie DeLander, at ringside. Rick Swann, the man that goes, all night long, all night, that guy. The hometown man, Cody Deaner. Man who fears Marco's Pizza, Ryan Nemeth. Flop Dollar, AJ Francis, Grandpa Eric Young. Skyline Hawks, the Great Hands. Eddie Edwards and his good buddy Brian Myers. Former world champion and international champion Steve Maclin, surprisingly, in that match. I guess he resigned, or I don't know what happened with that. And coming back, Trey Miguel. So, Tony Khan signs him, and then we find out that Trey Miguel had that whole thing with the whole Jay Briscoe thing with some mean tweets. So, you know, Tony Khan's like, no, we don't need you. Get out of here. Go back to where you came from. So, Golden Silver's like, oh, we'll bring you back. No problem. Or they notified his part of the contract, and it's like, all right, you can go back to TNA. I think it's great that he's back at TNA. He can go after the X Division title. Well, we got that. So, yeah, so he was basically in AEW for about almost a week. And we didn't even see him. That's that. Alright, so we start the match with everybody pretty much clearing out. So then Rick Swann and Trey Miguel, they have a good old hug. We get that. And then Flop Dollar comes in, cuts that chicanery off. After Trey goes up the turnbuckle to get a briefcase, and he gets double powerbombed for his efforts. Grandpa Eric Young comes back in to clear the ring until Trey tried a poison runner attempt, didn't really get all of it. But he hits a big flippy dippity doo. And then the hometown man, Cody Deaner, goes up top, dives off the top rope onto them, rather than grab the briefcase like a normal human being. Then he goes up top, tries for the briefcase, but Grandpa Eric Young steals his mask, like we don't know what he looks like under the mask, and the briefcase, so he officially wins that. I don't think it was the number one briefcase. And it didn't matter. He just wins a briefcase. And then the Great Hands, Hotch and Skyler go after a briefcase. But then Steve Maclin takes it away. And then he wins the case. So we're down to 2 cases. So then Mance Warner, the sick fuck that he is, loads up some chairs rather than going after the case. Which allows Eddie Edwards to hit a blue thunder bomb on him on the chairs. Ow! And then Flop Dollar AJ Francis chokeslams Rick Swann on the apron. Ow. But Trey Miguel kicks him down. And then Trey Miguel goes up, gets the briefcase. So, most likely he'll get that X Division title match. And then we're down to Brian Myers to kill the field. So Eddie gets the last case. And like I said before, spoiler alert, he got the world title, which, if you have TNA Plus, you heard the audio of that. So they kind of fucked up. They royally fucked up next week. Oh, we got the big reveal, and then we find out one of the cases have been revealed already. Dumb. Turn your freaking mics off at the end of the broadcast. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so overall the match was kind of meh. So I gave it a meh. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's it. So we'll see 3 of the 4 reveals next week, and somebody is getting fired. Now, a lot of people say it's going to be Steve Maclin. I hope not. Imagine it's Trey Miguel. Oh, that'll look really bad. He was released, and then fired from. He was released, got signed to TNA, released by AEW, goes back to TNA, and then he gets fired in the span of about 2 weeks. Crazy shit. Sucks to be you, Trey Miguel. But I hope he gets the X Division title shot, because I'd love to see him and Leon Slater go at it. But it's not going to be Steve Maclin, then It's not a problem. I doubt it's going to be Trey Miguel. And the only other logical choice is going to be most likely the hometown man. Not the hometown man, sorry. It's probably going to be Grandpa Eric Young. So I think we're not going to see Eric Young anymore. And God forbid he goes back to the WWE. How they fucked up his group. Sanity back in the day. Oh, that was bad. They bring him up, but they leave Nikki Cross back down to NXT to have a great feud with Asuka. And then, I forgot the members of. I think it was Alexander Wolf got released, and then the other guy I think got released, and Eric Young just by himself on SmackDown, and then pretty much he got released and goes back to TNA, and Nikki Cross finally goes up to the main roster, and pretty much did nothing for a while, and then they changed her into that stupid superhero gimmick. She wins the world title, cashing in. I think she won the Money in the Bank, and cashed in on Charlotte to win the title, and then proceeded to lose the title, I think, back to Charlotte, which I think was just, weird that she had the belt for, a little bit. I think she had the 24/7 title, and then she was the last one to hold it, I think, and she pretty much blew that fucking shit up, which they should have done in the beginning. That title was dumb, and the only good thing about it was R-Truth holding it 55 times. And then Kelly had it, Gerald Briscoe had it at one point. It was just retarded. Even Reggie, a good buddy Reggie Scripps had it for a while. A few reigns, and Zazawa, I think Otis had it at one point. I mean, it was fun, but it was like a meaningless piece of tin. Thankfully, it'll never come back, hopefully. But knowing Hunter and, his stupid mind and everything. Let's bring back this and a new title. Why not? Let's not. And that's it. Alright, so Feast of Fire is done. Eddie Edwards, Eric Young, Steve Macklin, and Trey Miguel all got the briefcases. And like I said, we know Eddie Edwards has the world title shot. And we'll see what the other three have this week on episode 3 of Impact. That's that. Alright, then we're in the parking lot area. The dreaded parking lot. Mike Santana runs into the man who parked Issa's car perfectly. That's Nick Nemeth. Wants him to watch his step, meaning cashing in that Call Your Shot trophy. So Nick teases he was gonna cash in. Brings up Santana's daughter. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. And that incites a humongous brawl. And in between that, we saw Jeff Hardy in the back just getting ready. That was weird. Oh, we see that. Alright, so I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. After the break, we see Nick Nemeth go into the locker room where we have that fake YouTuber BDE and some of his friends there. I think they're playing video games. I don't know what video game they were playing. On the TV. I think it might have been TNA Impact. I don't know. But, in any case, they're playing video games. Nick comes in, yells at them for just playing games because this is real life. So BDE gets all mad and steps up to Nick and says, "How about me and you next week? So I can shut your mouth, old timer." And Nick's like, "Okay, you're on." I hope Nick beats the fuck out of him. Because BDE's a fake YouTuber like other people I know. But I digress on that. And we move on. Alright, so I give that segment 2.5 out of 5 stars. After that, we get the lovely Elena Black. Cora Jade comes out for a little kitty chat. Says, "I'm the only one you need to talk about, and I'm the only one that matters." So she says, "My first match in TNA, first match back from TNA. She was in TNA, then went to WWE, now she's back. So her first match is next week, and it says, 'This is the era of Elena.'" So basically, it felt like a basic promo you do when you first go to promo class. when you first start in the minor leagues, you know, like NXT, you get signed to the WWE ID program, and then, you know, you have to, like, who's your character? Who are you? You know, you just cut a promo, you know, with your character. You know, I'm Peter Gilmore. I'm gonna take you to the extreme, and I'm gonna kick your ass. If you're not down with that, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man. The greatest tagline in history. I know you can't say that, but now you have to change it. So, not down with that, you can suck, but no, can't even say that. So you have to change it up a little bit. You can say go F yourself, you can say that, but I would just say F you, man. Make it more politically correct. But that's how Elena Black's promos have been. Just like generic. I'll see what happens with her next week and who she faces. And that's pretty much it. Alright, so I get a 2.25 out of 5 stars. Then we have Ariana Grace, you know, Santino's hot daughter, who's now married to the Intercontinental Champion Stacks Mahomes. She comes in, apologizes to her dad, who really doesn't seem impressed. Not impressive, daughter. I am not impressed. I am mad at you. Pretty much. And basically kisses up to her dad, saying Stacks was wrong, begs his forgiveness, and then they hug, and Santino's like, okay, you know, let bygones be bygones. That's bullshit. But then again, maybe Ariana had a change of heart. I don't know. I think she's being, you know, she's capping, basically, just because, you know, of her boyfriend, her husband, and everything. So, we'll see what happens with that situation, but it wasn't anything to write home about, and I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, back to the ring finally we go with Mustafa Ali and Order 4, Tasha Steelz and the Great Hands and Agent Zero taking on Jeff Hardy, dude! With Broken Matt Hardy, yes! Wonderful! Delete! Alright, so he's at ringside. This was a pretty damn good match. Also with Jeff shoving him down out of the corner. Then he takes Mustafa down for a quick ride. That sounded weird. And a right hand puts him on the floor. Back in. Ali gets punched to the floor again for a little breather. Ali gets back in. Knocks Jeff into the corner, followed by a shot out to the floor. And then Agent Zero takes Matt out as we go to break. Come back. Fight now goes to the apron. Jeff hits the twist of fate on the ring steps. Ow! Which will return on their side next to the apron, which made it even look sicker. Woo! I think Jeff took the brunt of that one, but I digress. Then they both dive in before the count of 10, so 9.9. Batman 5. Jeff gets the better of things after a slugfest. Going to the basement dropkick. Starts doing the hits and all that other shit. Then another twist of fate gets blocked. Ali gets sent face first into the turnbuckle. And then the Puerto Rican princess Tasha Steelz distracts the ref. Jeff hits a double twisting stunner, or a double twist of fate, for a near fall. And then Ali grabs a title belt, one of the tag team title belts. Matt cuts that out. It's like, no, no, no. And then gets into it again with Agent Zero, which leaves Jeff to hit the twist of fate. Goes for the swanton and missed. And then Ali with a 450 for a very near fall. And then Elijah comes out. Who wants to walk with Elijah? So Elijah goes to distraction, meaning Jeff hits the twist of fate into the swanton bomb. Oh! Hits that 1, 2, 3 in exactly 15 and a half minutes. Jeff Hardy, dude, gets the win over Mustafa Ali. Pretty good match, 3 out of 5 stars. That's it. Alright, and then after that, the Righteous are in the back saying that it's not over with them and the Hardys. Obviously. After the Hardys somehow, someway retain the titles at Genesis. I figured, like, yeah, we're gonna get round 2 Electric Boogaloo. Somehow. We got that. Alright, then we get to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the system to come out, say a final farewell to JDC on TV to announce his, and then we're going to announce his replacement. So Johnny Curtis Fandango says, I handpicked this guy, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen, it's Bear Bronson. Mophead. What? Mophead? I mean, dude, really? I know they have history in Creator Pro and Wrestle Pro, but him? To replace him? He replaces JDC? Are you nuts? So the team's all happy with that. But then Eddie Edwards with a heinous act on Moose, and they jump Moose. I'm like, wait a minute, and JDC. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Huh? And then Cedric Alexander comes out for the save, but then he commits the heinous act, turns heel, hits Moose in his bed back with a chair, and then Eddie gets on the mic and says, oh, by the way, Fandango, we're not replacing you, we're replacing Moose as well. So you're out of the system, and now Bear Bronson and Cedric are in, which makes no sense to me. And then Alicia Edwards is all crying, like, what the fuck is going on, Eddie? Big old beatdown to end the show. I don't know what's going to happen with Alicia if she's going to actually allow this. If I were her, I'd just leave too. They don't need another person there. They don't need a female, like, manager, person there. Unless somebody's going to replace her, who, I don't know. I was waiting for maybe, like, Big Swole to come out because, she's Cedric Alexander's wife, and, wife basically, girlfriend, whatever it is, to take out Alicia so she joins. Maybe that's the next person. I don't know. But it made sense, but then it was just, like, kind of, like, discombobulated how we got to that point. So, but Moose is going on his own, and Fandango is retiring. So it looks like Moose is going to go on a little quest to take out every member of the system, and then maybe get back to the world title or a title picture, hopefully soon. But we'll see what happens with that. So kind of a wacky, wild ending to the show. And I give the final segment 3.25 out of 5 stars. Overall, episode number 2 I thought it was way better than last week. Way better. And I gave TNA Impact Wrestling episode 2 on AMC 7 out of 10 stars. But let me know what you guys thought of the show down below in the comment section. And like Trick Willie would say, let's talk about it. And that's that. Alright guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have a little light dinner pretty soon. I'm going to watch a movie. I'll be back one more time right here on this channel with your Ring of Honor review. And tomorrow, early tomorrow afternoon, probably between 1 and 3, we'll talk about, because I am off tomorrow, because of the snow, I'm off, so, but in any case, tomorrow we'll talk about, Collision, from this past Saturday night, from last night, really, and then we'll get you ready for Monday Night Raw, from Toronto. Should be a great show. AJ, is going to be on the show, have a segment with Walter before their match at the Royal Rumble, and it'll be the Raw Go Home show before the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens with that. And then on SmackDown at 1 p.m. on Friday, their Go Home show, and we'll see what happens with that. Then we got the Royal Rumble, as we're about to begin the road to WrestleMania 42 in Vegas once again in the middle of April. And by the way, big ups to Saudi Arabia. They got that stadium built in a month, which was crazy. It looks good for like a mini type stadium. It's like a rinky-dink, like, little stadium. Looks pretty damn nice. So, golf clap to you people in Saudi Arabia for getting it done. I think they still have a little bit more to do before Saturday. But I think the ring is all set up. The big canopy is all set up around the ring and everything. I think they just got to test the lights and test the pyro. I think we got to do a few more things before next weekend. But I think it's going to come up pretty damn well. I hope. But we'll see what happens with that. So, and basically that storyline with, can we get the stadium done by the 31st was more, we had more emphasis on, like, oh yeah, let's worry about if they can get the stadium done when the storylines are just shit. Get more, more build to that instead of the main storylines with the Rumble and Drew and now Sami Zayn. And Walter and AJ. But even though that has some build, but still the rest of the card has nothing. No build to the people going in the Rumble and everything like that. Just have the people declaring themselves in, but nothing else. And that's that. So, lots of stuff to talk about this week. We got NXT, the go-home show before the February 3rd big show. And we'll see what happens with that. I think that February 3rd may be called Vengeance Day, because I really haven't heard anything about Vengeance Day. So, let me see. Maybe I could find out. NXT Vengeance Day. Oh, they are doing Vengeance Day, February the 15th. So the week after the Super Bowl and the day after Valentine's Day. It will be at the Care First Arena in Washington, D.C. The first Vengeance... No, it can't be the first Vengeance. Was I had Vengeance Day last year. So yeah, February 3rd is just an event, not a named thing. So we got that. So NXT first pay-per-view of the year, Vengeance Day that's 2025. Sorry, I looked at the wrong date. That's my bad. My bad. I looked at the phone wrong. But now they're saying I actually was right now. Saturday. No, it can't be Saturday. Saturday's not the 15th. That's the 14th. I heard they were doing something on the 14th. I heard when I was in the East's chat, somebody said the 14th there was going to be a pay-per-view. Whether that happens or not, but when I'm looking at my phone now, it says based on the current 2026 W calendar, NXT Vengeance Day PLE is scheduled for February the 15th, which is Sunday, in Washington D.C. This event is part of the early 2026 WWE schedule to follow the Royal Rumble. It's going to be in Washington D.C. like it was last year. Usually it's the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which we haven't seen in a couple years. I wonder if they're going to bring that back. Okay, now, so take it with a grain of salt. It's going to be on the 14th or the 15th, because I'm reading different things about Vengeance Day, and haven't heard anything about it, so. One says the 15th, another one says TBA, and then where TBA. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but hopefully, they'll do another Vengeance Day. I mean, if they're doing a big event on the 3rd, and they're calling it Vengeance Day, I think it's kind of, it's okay, but then you got, when's the first pay-per-view going to be? We're going to go all the way to April with Stunned and Deliver, just WrestleMania weekend. In the afternoon, we're getting that, like at 1 o'clock, or maybe at 3, probably, I say 3 o'clock Eastern, because, it's like 2 hours behind in Vegas. So I'll probably start at 11 or 12 o'clock in Vegas. We'll get to see between 12 and 3 on WrestleMania night 1 on Saturday, WrestleMania Saturday. So we get that, and then we have a little bitty break, and then we got night 1 of WrestleMania beginning at, I believe, was at 8 p.m., so it'll probably be at 6 p.m. in Pacific time, or Mountain time, Mountain Pacific time, whatever it is, in Vegas time. So, we got that. But, I mean, we'll see what happens with all that. So, NXT should be pretty good this week. We got Dynamite this week as we keep going along. We're about a little over a month away from Revolution. Then we got Dynasty on April the 12th, the week before WrestleMania. So, we got that. The Elimination Chamber coming up February the 28th from I don't know where. And qualifying matches will probably begin next Monday on Raw and on SmackDown to fill up the chamber matches for the men and the women, and then maybe some other matches in between there. So that's that. So, next month or two is going to be pretty exciting for all the promotions, even TNA, maybe a little bit of Ring of Honor, because we don't have anything coming up for Ring of Honor until I think maybe April with Supercard, or whenever the first pay-per-view is. I'd probably be in April with Supercard, I assume, but we'll see what happens with that. And that's it. Alright guys, I am out of here. I'm going to go have a little din-din, and then take a little, then chill for a little bit, and I'll be back later, like I said, with my final video of the day, video number 3, your Triple Threat Sunday coming up a little bit later, with your Ring of Honor review. And that's that. But for now, thanks for watching. Once again, 7 out of 10 stars for Impact. Way better than last week's debut. And hopefully the ratings go up a little bit. We'll see when they finally come out. Maybe tomorrow, maybe early this week. And that's that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Once again, be safe here in the Northeast. If you're going out on the roads, be careful. Drive safely. If you're walking later tonight or tomorrow, be safe. If you gotta go to work, because you're an essential worker or whatever, maybe that's that. But but for everybody else, probably be another day off to clean up. Get rid of at least some of the snow so you can walk down the street, or just if you can't walk down the street, try to walk down a sidewalk that's clear, or hopefully is clear. Some people don't freaking de-ice their sidewalks, which is stupid. So everybody's falling on their ass, hurting themselves to go to the hospital. So we got that, but I already did my shoveling. I could do more tomorrow, clear a path going down the other side of my block. And then, that's that. I'm not going out till Wednesday, where most of the snow on the road will be starting to melt a little bit. So the roads should be clean and not too much black ice or anything, probably for another couple of days. I would say 3, maybe by the end of the week. I think the main roads will be fine. The side roads, maybe it'll be the end of the week or early next week for that. And hopefully warmer temperatures as we get into the beginning of February. And no more snowstorms like this one, because this was nasty, overhyped. And a lot of people are like, oh, I gotta get the bread and milk. And they couldn't get it because all the supermarkets were gone. I feel like, oh, we got the pandemic, we gotta get everything, we gotta get the hand sanitizer. And Clorox disinfecting wipes, and then nobody had it. I mean, I know that from experience when I was working in retail. I know from experience. So if you know from experience, if you ever worked in retail, if you worked during the pandemic era for 2021 and early 22, insane. People buying water in bulk. No hand sanitizers, no masks. It was insane. Pandemic was, crazy to start out the 2020s. The first 3 years, first 2020, 21, and 22 was just insane. And then it kind of got, the pandemic era went bye-bye after that. And now for the last couple of years, it's just been, just weirdness. So 2020s, and we're starting the second half of The Price is Right. I mean, the second half of the 2020s, as we go into the 2030s, we'll see how it goes. We got about 3.5, little over 4 years left. Now we got under 4 years left till 2030, and we'll see how that goes as we start another decade or two. But we got that. So enjoy it, and that's that. But be safe, be well this week, and just enjoy the week, and wherever you may be. If you're in the Northeast or any other state that's cold, hopefully it will be warming up pretty soon. And if you're in Florida, down south, Florida, like Miami, you're having fun. You're on a beach somewhere, maybe a pool, enjoying, maybe a nice glass of soda or whatever, and you're on a beach, you're at the pool, you're just chilling. But if you're in like central and northern Florida right now, it's gonna get cold. Probably won't see 80 for like another week or two. But that's that. But then on the West Coast, depending where you are on the West Coast, it's cold or it's warm-ish. But winter, we got at least another month or two of winter, and we'll see what happens with all that. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, and until next time, if you're not down with that, well, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man. And that's it. Until next time, my friends. Adios. Peace.